This has its own magic. This has its own magic.
Yes, sir.
It's your boy Phony Toasters with the mostest.
Taz, the old nerdy bastard in the building, and we back, 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 and we back.
Do we call it a comeback?
No, you know what? I was thinking that.
Years.
I was thinking that. We can't call it a comeback. He never went anywhere.
No. And there was no Sony movie.
There is none. Like they said we're going to do one, but it never actually came out. So like people are saying he's back. I'm like, did he really leave? Anyways, for those who don't know, it's crazy if you don't know. Sony and Marvel decided to make up and say, I bet. Like they were just like, I bet. Word. We're gonna come together and we're going to, let Feige go ahead and do his thing.
First we break up, then we make up.
It's a beautiful
That's
thing.
what we do.
The parents decided to stick together. They didn't want to go to custody battles. They didn't want to continue with the custody battles.
Happy couldn't live without May.
Hey, hey.
Wouldn't be happy no more.
I'm not mad at him.
I'm not mad. Look, he already lost Tony. He can't lose May too.
I'm not mad at him at all. I'm not mad at him. I get it. I do think, there's more to this story. I don't think it's that simple. People say, oh, well, they decided to just go ahead, Marvel get 25%. Stop right there. That was the initial offer. Mm-hmm. Fuck what all the people are saying. Everyone's saying, oh, it's 50%, 75%. It was none of that. It was 25%, which to me is fair. Business-wise. It's fair. Not saying that they should take it or they have to take it or they're dumb for not taking it. I'm just saying that was fair. Because, let's be real, Spidey being in the Marvel Universe is one of the main reasons why this is the most successful of the franchise.
Yeah.
I think that we can all agree there. Okay, I was just making sure.
I think they probably reran the numbers to the reviews for Venom as well. Mm-hmm. Realize how much that piggybacked off the popularity of the Spider-Man character and franchise. Mm-hmm. And having Spider-Man, at least in that light, was one of the best things they could do. I'm sure, though, also, there were talks of other characters being able to be utilized in the MCU. Because Spider-Man does have a whole host of characters, and I'm sure that those negotiations came up in the in the re-talks.
I think that was the main thing. I think what Sony wanted Venom in the Marvel Universe. That's what I say. I think it's deeper than just percentages. I think Sony was like, well, if y'all want 25%, we want Venom in the MCU.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I think Venom is a good character for Spider-Man to be, or a good character for Sony to try to transfer us over. But you know what I could imagine Marvel wanting?
What's that?
My boy with them the dopest waves in the MCU. Norman Osborn. Think about it, because Osborn fills a kind of a little bit of a gap in the villain world.
Absolutely.
We don't have anybody right now that is both a supervillain and somebody tied into the world of politics, government, things of that nature. And Norman is kind of the Lex Luthor of the MCU.
He is.
And without a proper... And I think that if, the DCEU was thriving a little bit more and Lex Luthor, they did a better casting with Lex Luthor, we probably wouldn't see a push for Norman Osborn. But it's like, the gap is there, why not fill it?
I agree.
You have... Norman can touch on everybody. Norman's the kind of guy who's going to want to try to get into Wakanda. Norman's the kind of guy who's going to try to, take everything to the next level. He could be a direct Spider-Man villain, as well as a villain for everybody. I think he's a good tie-in character.
I agree. He can have his hands in a lot of different things in the Marvel Universe. He has a lot of influence. He's, I would say, needed in the Marvel Universe, in the MCU at least. Yeah. I think that he's needed. Heisen Turtle says, you really think Disney is going to make a Sony character a focal point in their universe? I was telling people that. People are like, Tom Holland Spider-Man is the face of Marvel. No, he's not. He's not.
Um,
It'll be Black Panther and Carol.
Yeah, Tom Holland, and this is what one of the beautiful things about Marvel that they're able to do that I don't think people understand is Marvel is able to make each character shine prior to their movie coming up, during their movie time, and after it's run. So you really feel like, oh, well, now this character is the focal point of Marvel. Where Tony had that for a while. However, Spider-Man is big enough to seem like a focal point, but like Tasker said, Carol and Black Panther are gonna be are the two big focal points of Marvel. But why have any focal points? Why not give everybody their own? I mean, think about it. We got a Shang-Chi movie coming up. You don't think motherfuckers gonna be pushing hard for Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi, if they do Shang-Chi correctly, which I think they will, Shang-Chi can do better than everybody. Shang-Chi could be the #1 solo Marvel film if they do it correctly, which it seems like they are. And the reason why I say that is because, once again, the #1 movie market in the world is China.
Yep. It's where the people are at.
Exactly. It's where the people... No, dead ass. It really is. It really is. It's just because it's the biggest... it has the most people in the world.
Yeah.
In China. And so, in one country. So, they all go to movies. And so, since they all go to movies, they also are a big fan of, like, Chinese nationalism. They're really, like, they get behind their people. And so, if they do this correctly, which, once again, I say I feel like they are, Shang-Chi could be, like, the biggest hit. Like, I'm being dead ass. Y'all thinking it's crazy. Like, what? For real? There's more people who go to movies outside of America.
No. June says China is pissed about Shang-Chi casting.
Not true. That is not true.
Yeah,
that is not true. I know people from China, and they're like, no, we're not.
You know, it's funny. It's funny because I hear this around a lot of the what people call the whitewash movies in like China and Japan, and I love seeing the videos where people actually go onto the streets, like the Ghost in the Shell with Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, people overseas were like, oh yeah, she's a big famous movie star. I don't see why you would not use her. That makes all the sense in the world. And isn't she a robot?
I mean, here's the deal. I can see why people had a problem with it. However, what I didn't like was when people were speaking for Japan. They're like, well, Japanese people are mad. I'm like, did you talk to a Japanese person? Did a person from Japan tell you this? Because people in Japan didn't trip over it.
Yeah, they were like, oh yeah, it makes sense.
And once again, we're not defending it. We're just stating facts here. Like, they were tripping over it. They're like, whatever. We like Scarlett Jo.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, she's a big actress. It makes total sense. She's also does a lot of action movies. I don't see why the casting would bother anybody.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, like you say, I'm a big person on this one little concept for any casting is if there is a tie from the character to their heritage for their origin story, their main plot, or whatever to work, then you need to keep it that. If there isn't, like, for example, like a Mary Jane, Reed Richards, you know, there's many characters down the list you can go where, yeah, your origin doesn't really affect, you know, who you are. Then, yeah, I mean, change it. It's perfectly fine. I have no problem with that. But if it does, then yeah, you gotta kind of keep that. You know, it's kind of like the Mandarin.
Well,
you know, you should have just kept that.
Which will be in Shang-Chi.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I enjoyed this movie, but they also had a miss was Doctor Strange with the Ancient One.
Exactly, and that's another reason why I'm pretty sure Shang-Chi will be done well, because Marvel has learned their lesson from that, and they don't want to fuck it up again. Kaiju says Japanese Americans were mad. Japan, South Korea, and China have entire film industries where they see themselves and are represented. So Japanese Americans. Like he said, like it was Japanese Americans. Like, I'm talking like, yeah, exactly. I was like, have you talked to people from Japan? Yeah. Like, are they telling you this? Because I think it did pretty well over there.
Yeah.
They like ScarJo. They like ScarJo. Basically, what I'm saying is don't speak for other people. If you're insulted by it, cool.
And you got to keep in mind too that regardless of what other culture that people attach to or come from, if you're an American, you're probably part of outrage culture. And most Americans, regardless of what else they identify with, just like to be pissed off. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? You can't say this whole other country is pissed off. Like, black people, we talk a lot of shit about African problems. Most of us ain't seen Africa in like 400 plus years. I mean, we don't know much else other than America and the bullshit here. Right?
I have I do not want to go to Africa. Yeah. I watched too much 90 Day Fiance, and there's like 4 of them that are going to Africa. That place sucks. That place looks like it's terrible.
Yeah.
It looks dirty. It looks nasty. I'm not, God bless the motherland, but I'm cool. Bro, I'm straight.
It's one of the few places that I can go and say that, wow, your news is worse than our news.
Pretty much. And they love Trump over there.
Oh,
they love Trump. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, he's like, I gotta go destroy that America fucking place. Fuck you guys. Fuck all of you.
Absolutely.
Let that dumbass run that shit.
But I do want to talk about something real quick, because this is something that, through all the excitement. And shout out to MTF for pointing this out to me, because I retweeted it. And people are like, oh, no one's talking about this. Throughout all the excitement, once again, I said it in the beginning of this podcast, it seemed like it was more than just, all right, 25% done. Once again, a lot of people don't know how business works. You got to think past dollar amounts and think licensing and deals being made. Like, for example, I could have an iPhone 10. Not saying he do it, but let's say he has something I really want. I said, I want that. And they say, and he says, all right, give me, what can you give me for it? I said, I got an iPhone this. And he says, oh man, I don't want just that. Give me that plus money. So that's what we end up doing. That's the trade we want. That's what is going in. So it's not just money, it's something else too. So this was announced as well. New multi-year distribution deal with Sony includes the full suite of sports, news, and entertainment nets from Walt Disney Television and ESPN on PlayStation Vue.
Yep. And that's smart on both ends. Because right now, PlayStation Vue, I mean, people like the idea of using PlayStation as a kind of TV platform, but it's not taking off. A lot of the solo projects that they have had, the what's it called, Sony Productions, they put on there, haven't done well. Like, remember Powers?
Yeah.
Amazing book, shitty show.
Yo, that show was trash.
But this also gives Disney something too. This gives Disney another platform for their streaming service, because a lot of people don't have, like, unless you have like Samsung, or I think Vizio, like, unless you have like an app system, a lot of TVs don't update to be able to take on a new app.
Absolutely.
So if they're looking for another platform that a lot of people have, Sony has a huge install base. I mean, I got a PlayStation. I got credit right now again, so I'm gonna get a PlayStation Pro. So I traded in when they had a good deal.
Oh, nice.
So I got like $250 for like the old PlayStation. It's like $200.
It works out. It works out.
So
no,
eventually I'm gonna go back over there and get another one.
I'm with you 100%, but it's like, excuse me.
But yeah, that's smart.
Yeah. So basically, that's another thing that I don't think that we ever talked about. With our excitement with Disney Plus is where will we be able to stream it?
And see, that's where I thought that if Disney's smart, and we know you watch the show, so listen up, you will find a way to talk to your tech department about essentially reverse engineering all of your apps to be able to work with one another. So right now you have Hulu. You own Hulu, right? You own ESPN. And you have a new Disney Plus app. Well, Disney Plus needs to be able to already talk to Hulu and ESPN. So you need to make your Hulu app be able to talk to Disney Plus and ESPN and any ESPN apps, because I know they exist, talk to Hulu and Disney Plus. If you could do that, that means anybody who already has a TV compatible with Hulu could get Disney Plus.
Disney
so
Plus.
you automatically start moving
Makes
over
sense.
subscriptions
Makes
and everything
sense.
else of that nature, and you get access all of a sudden now to ESPN and whatever. Or if you have ESPN, you get the Hulu Plus.
That makes sense. Now, that's something I think that was brought into question because, once again, when we talk Sony and Disney, I kept telling people it's bigger than just Spider-Man. And I think that's been one of the biggest problems is that people are just thinking Spider-Man.
They're not looking at the web.
They're not looking at everything. For example, Disney Plus. So Disney could be like, all right, Sony, we can have it so that you can't use our streaming on Sony.
Yep.
They're gonna have to use it on something else. They give it to Xbox. I bet your Xbox is like, hey, Microsoft is like, hey,
We print money, baby.
Oh,
We'll give you all that.
hey.
We'll give you all that.
That's a problem. Now, to a lot of people who think, so what? There are people who exist on this planet that only have PlayStations simply for streaming.
Matter of fact, there's people, most of the people on this planet who have Xboxes only have them for the Blu-ray player.
Exactly.
For
It is a thing. No, for real, it's a thing.
Keep it 100.
Because a lot of people don't have these new TVs that already have this shit installed in them. Like you could get apps, like you said, like Samsung. A lot of people don't have these TVs yet, so they just have like a Roku. They have a PlayStation 4. They have a PlayStation whatever, simply just for streaming purposes.
Yeah, you got. I mean, and you got people. I think a lot of people think about the nicer places in America and the more fortunate folks in the world. You got to think the majority of the people live more meek lives. Well, like you said, they have no. There's. I mean, a lot of people still on CRTs and older technology TVs and use these consoles exactly like you're saying for their media center because their TV ain't gonna see a flat screen smart TV upgrade. For another 10 years.
Right,
And
exactly.
that's the majority of the world. These are world distribution companies.
Absolutely, these are things that people didn't think about. I also mentioned Marvel games with the Spider-Man game, and people got on my head about that, saying Marvel has no control over that. And I said, you know what? You're right, but you know what does? Disney. Disney could be like, oh no, we're good.
Now,
We're
Marvel
good.
Studios has no control over that.
Exactly.
It's a different one. And you better believe with the money they're bringing in, Marvel has some say in what happens with these IPs.
Absolutely. They could have been like, fuck you.
Yeah.
No.
This doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
And that could fuck up our bottom line over here,
Exactly.
over here. Because
Exactly.
one of the beautiful things that Marvel has done with their property is they're giving you a universal feeling of who these characters are, the worlds that they live in and are represented in. So when you see them, you can identify with this character. You'll want that merchandise. You want that media.
Absolutely.
And it's bigger.
I keep telling people it's bigger than just Spider-Man. It's not just Spider-Man. It's all the other businesses. Now people saying, oh, well, Sony could just do the Spider-Man movie themselves. Excuse me, and make money. That's great. But now they also going to lose money from the Spider-Man 2 game. Now they're going to lose money from people buying PlayStations because Disney's like, we're not going to fuck with you guys when it comes to our streaming. We're not going to fuck with you guys. So Sony could be assholes right now. And be like, all right, we want to be the only console that can stream your shit. Microsoft can't stream y'all. That's probably a part of the deal. They could do that. They could sneak that in there. It'd be like, oh, by the way, you can only stream through us, not through Roku, not through anything else, just us on their phones or the TV can do it. Other than that, no other console can do it. They can do some shit like that, especially with this kind of deal.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Oh no, we were talking about some internet stuff.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Because they were saying not everybody in the world has broadband. Some people have satellite and things of that
That's
nature.
true. That's true.
Not a lot of people have cable connections with cable companies. So them being able to even get internet and be able to stream is a huge thing. But we're talking about like dial-up and stuff. Like I've always been fairly technology forward because the industry that my dad was in IT stuff. So I had dial-up from like 1990. through like 2000, and in 2000 we got DSL, and so we had broadband, then we got cable, And now, like, currently where I'm at, I got fiber. So, I mean, I got like a gig download and I think 250 up.
Nice.
So I mean, my internet,
I
I have no issues.
But I think Madden Web is gonna tie in the Sony universe and the
Not at
Marvel
all.
universe.
Not at all. Here, and that was something I was going to get to regarding this. So basically, another thing that it seems like they came to the conclusion, which I think Disney was against at first, but now they're just like, fuck it, let's roll. It seems like Tom Holland can now show up in the Sony shows and the Sony movies.
I mean, why not? I mean, that's fine.
I can see Disney being like, fuck you at first. I can see them saying that. They're like, we made this motherfucker. Everything that people know about him was through us. So I don't want him touching that Venom shit. I don't want him showing up in Morbius. I don't want him showing up in whatever fucking bullshit movie.
At this point, there is very literally no reason for him and Eddie Brock to have any kind of beef.
At all.
At all.
There's no
Because
reason. There's no
Mysterio
connection.
already outed in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He doesn't work for any. I mean, since he's outed, he's not going to be working for any news agency or reporting agency. So that the way they can come into conflict doesn't really exist anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally got to like show up and like steal his girlfriend or something.
And even then, it wouldn't even be that bad.
And it's not even his girlfriend.
Even
Yeah, they're
then,
still broken up.
Like, there's no beef between them, and that's the problem, because Venom and Spider-Man have always had beef. That'd be like doing a Sabretooth movie, and he never met Wolverine. It's like, the fuck? We have no reason to hate each other. First of all, this Venom is old enough to be Peter's dad. Second of all, like, there's just, the Venom suit has never even touched Holland. Never. So the Venom suit's like, who the fuck is this guy? I don't know. I'm already bonded with this nigga. I'm already bonded with this guy. I don't need you. Like, it wouldn't make sense at all in the slightest. I think it was a bad move. But I can't really argue it made money. So, but I do want to go down this list because do you know what PlayStation View is? Mm-hmm. It's pretty much Sony's trying to do their own little cable.
Yeah.
So here's the list. They said the new agreement includes the newly acquired FX and National Geographic networks, as long as the ESPNs. So Sony View will also have ABC, Disney Channel, Disney Junior, Disney XD, Freeform, ESPN 1, 2, 3, ESPN News, ESPN Spanish, ACC Network, the Longhorn Network, FX, FXX, Fox for Life, National Geographic, all this shit. Like, they're getting mad shit off of this.
Yeah. No, this is a deal. And you got to, like I said, you have to think about it. The more ways that Disney can hook people into their programming, the better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Disney just clawing in. Disney is just digging in.
Like I tell people, we got to think bigger than just Spider-Man. This is all types of different businesses. Now, June here says, so y'all think it was a coincidence that Madam Web movie was announced the day before the Spidey deal? I don't think it was a coincidence at all.
Sony was trying to flex. They were saying, hey, we'll fuck up the whole Spider-Man shit.
Because what Sony wants to do with Madam Web has nothing to do with the MCU.
Nope.
So they don't. Feige and them have no control over what they decide to do. If they decide we want to do a Madam Web movie, which is stupid as shit, then that's what they decide to do.
From the same studio that almost brought you a Black Cat and Silver Sable movie comes
And an Aunt
another
May
bad
solo.
movie.
And an Aunt May solo as her as like a secret agent.
Melissa Tomei she could work that out.
But she wasn't going to be Melissa Tomei at the time. You're not wrong. I'm just saying. It wasn't going to be
It's
her.
gonna be Betty White. That'll still work.
I'm fucking weak.
Why would that work though?
That-
Betty White is a secret agent.
I'd watch it.
I'd watch it.
I'd watch it, and so would
Not
everybody.
me.
All of y'all niggas would watch that shit. Before the cartoon, was Madam Web a thing? Absolutely. Now, here's the thing where I have to say something to people. First of all, a lot of people are using Wikipedia.
How else do you get your Marvel facts?
I was blown away.
Whoa.
I had to say something. I was like, all y'all niggas on Wikipedia, huh? They were like, oh man, she's great. She can do this, and she's a mutant, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you just got that from Wikipedia. Because this Madam Web, the Madam Web in the comics is nowhere near as essential as she was in the cartoon.
Yeah. Very
They weren't even the same characters, really.
No. Totally different.
First of all, let's lay it straight. Comic book Madam Web was a mutant.
Yep.
She was basically a combination of Professor Xavier and Destiny. As in, first of all, she was blind.
Mm-hmm.
She was a precog.
Mm-hmm.
And she could read minds.
Yep.
The only reason why they called her Madam Web was because her last name was Webb.
Yeah.
And
as a precog, she would see the web between things, so she could see some of the alternate possibilities. If you go down this path, if you go down this path, so it became kind of ironic to her power set as well.
Right. Exactly. So that wasn't till later. They didn't establish that till pretty much before the cartoon. And in the cartoon, she was basically Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
She's practically Doctor Strange. And
She was like Doctor Strange and Nick Fury for the spiders.
exactly, for the spider people. Either
Send you out on
way,
this mission, son.
no, exactly. Either way, both versions never had a solo. I say this is my epic saying I always say. Not all characters are created equal simply because they exist. Simply because they're a thing doesn't mean that they now deserve a whole film. The whole concept of Madam Web is helping other superheroes.
Yeah, she's no good without others.
She's no good without anyone else.
It would be like doing a Jubilee film.
And I watched the Jubilee film before Madam Web one.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that just shows that Sony don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're trying to establish this universe out of assistant characters, out of co-stars. They're trying to make a whole universe out of this. Now, there's a lot of people, once again, I can tell, they're Googling shit and Wikipediaing. They're like, oh, well, what they use the Julia Carpenter version? No, let's roll with that. Okay, let's
You have the
say...
same problems.
No, let's roll with it.
All
Alright, fine. Julia Carpenter version. Then why not do fucking Spider-Woman? Then why not just do Spider-Woman?
Spider-Woman would be a step in the right direction.
That's where I'm at with it. I'm like, okay, let's say that they're gonna do the Julia Carpenter. If they do the Julia Carpenter version, who was Spider-Woman before,
In reality, you know what? They shouldn't do either of those ideas. Just because the name Venom already goes so much better, followed by a movie named Silk. And
I mean, that's where I'm at with it.
That's where it should go.
Now, MTF says it makes much more sense for the Madam Web film to be, what is it? Yeah, the Madam Web movie to be the way they do the female-centered spider-related team-up movie.
No,
We don't need Madam Web for that.
you don't.
We don't need Madam Web for that. And people keep saying, once again, with the Googling, they're like, oh, well, now we could do Spider-Verse. Nigga, we just had a Spider-Verse movie without her.
You know, actually, here's what I would do. If I had to do if I want to do a female-centric spider movie, I would call it Webs. I would have Madam Web as a character in the movie, of course. And I would just bring them in kind of like Spider-Verse-ish from different dimensions. And they would all fight one threat. There you go. It's that easy. But I wouldn't call it Madam Web. That just puts too much focus on a character who don't need it.
Yeah, exactly. We're not against the concept of Madam Web. We're against her having her own film.
Yeah,
that is
there's
completely
no need.
unnecessary, especially since the whole concept of the Spider-Verse has not been established yet. It's not been established at all.
Here's a good one.
Okay.
Let's say we go the Julia Carpenter route.
Okay.
Who do you cast?
Amy Adams.
Amy Adams. Is Madam Web Julia Carpenter, huh? I don't know.
Adult ain't wrong. Where is Silk? Exactly. If you ask me, and MTF, you gotta agree with me on this. Out of all the Spider ladies, Silk would be the one to go to.
You know what's really sad is I wanted the casting thing to kind of try to like excite me for the idea of a Madam Web movie. I still don't get it.
Nobody
I still
does.
don't want it.
Everybody who's excited about it, they're lying. You're not excited about a Madam Web movie. Don't lie to yourself. Stop lying.
Who do you cast for Silk?
Well, she would have to be Korean. The girl that played Blink, was she Korean?
I don't know.
Oh, what about old girl from Rose from Rose from Star Wars?
Rose from Star Wars.
She's Korean, ain't she? MTS said my dude been pushing Silk for years. Exactly. So you should be just as upset about this Madam Web shit. Like, who the fuck? There's so many other Spider ladies that deserve one before her. Kelly Marie Tran.
She's American, it says.
She's American.
It says nationality
No,
American.
they gotta,
I
no,
don't
they
know what
gotta
to
give
say.
her. She Vietnamese. Never mind. She Vietnamese.
Okay.
She Vietnamese. I thought she was Korean.
It says she's American. I don't know. Wikipedia tells me,
I
man.
know, no, yeah, that's what
Wikipedia
we get for
says
Wikipedia.
it,
That's what
alright?
we get for Wikipedia and shit.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, that's fine.
100% American. Born and raised.
I mean, it's not wrong.
She's San Diegan. Born in San Diego. I've been to San Diego.
I have
That's
to.
a place with many people.
Absolutely.
All who were born there.
Yeah.
Come from there.
We would have to double check and look more into that. But either way, like I'm saying, Silk would be better. Spider Woman would be better. Spider Woman has a huge following. People love Jessica Drew. Spider Gwen.
Spider and Jessica Drew gives you the opportunity to separate yourself from a lot of the other spiders. Because Jessica Drew was experimented on versus being accidentally bitten by a radioactive spider. Her father studied spiders and their genes and experimented on her. So you have a degree of trauma versus accidental responsibility.
Exactly.
You have the idea that, these things go deeper. Her power set's slightly different. Which I think is one of the things that makes Miles great as well. Is like, you're not the typical spider. For me, I don't like a lot of the direct spider clones. That's why I was never really like a Ben Reilly fan. Like, I liked his outfit, but then I was like, oh, you're just Peter Parker, so it really doesn't matter.
Oh, his outfit was fire.
His outfit was dope.
Outfit was
Like, this
fire.
is one of the best parts
Outfit was
about,
fire.
what's it called? Ghost Spider now?
I'm not gonna get. I feel for Captain Marvel fans now. The Shazam Captain Marvel fans. I feel for them. Cause I can't call that bitch Ghost Spider. The fuck.
And the
I
sad
can't
part
do
is,
it.
Ghost would be a better name, but somebody already else has Ghost. So it's kind of like you just should have kept Spider-Gwen because it wasn't that bad. It just wasn't that bad compared to what you came up with.
She should just be Spider Woman.
No.
There's 2 Spider-Men. We could have 2 Spider-Women. That would be sexist. There are 2 Spider-Men. Miles ain't called Spider Nigga. He ain't called Spider Boy. He's called Spider-Man. We have 2 Spider-Men. We can have 2 Spider-Women.
Haven't we had like 3 Spider-Women at a time?
It doesn't matter. Right, that's not the point.
saying,
That's
haven't
not
we
the
done
point.
this already?
Why you're not wrong?
I don't like that many shared identities. Like, that's one of the reasons why I like Aranya.
Oh, I love Aranya. I love Aranya.
And she's one of the characters I thought is like a huge misstep on Marvel's part. Like,
I
they should
agree.
have kept building on that after the
I
American
agree.
Fantasy reboot.
There was basically a whole after the first Spider-Verse, which didn't feature Madam Web at all.
Madam who?
Exactly. Who didn't feature Madam Web in the slightest. So we have 2 whole Spider-Verse events that never featured Madam Web. But people are telling me, oh, we need her for Spider-Verse. I'm like, y'all niggas don't read at all, do you?
Yeah, no.
At all.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Kingpin just made a machine. Like in Spider-Verse. That's all you need, apparently, is
Oh, shit.
you need a dude in a suit. That's
Ivy, delete your account. He said, when is Miles changing to Spidey? Remember that was a thing?
Spidey,
Remember that
yeah.
was a thing? But they left the whole open for Aranya to, doesn't really roll off the tongue. Well, Ghost Spider? Yeah, it's just a stupid name.
Ghost Spider's just bad, yeah.
Yeah, first of all, it makes me want to say Ghost Rider. Second of all, there already is a Ghost Spider who was a dude who in his universe, it was when Peter Parker, who was bit by a spider, also got infected with Zarathos.
Shit happens.
And you could beat him in the Spider-Man game.
Can you imagine if that one gets the Venom suit?
Oh,
Like,
shit.
oh, fire! No!
No.
Quit this shit!
But they left Spider-Verse with Aranya. She was the leader of the Web Warriors. So she was the one going to the different dimensions. She was the one. It gave her purpose. It gave her a point. She isn't just here. Like she had a thing going where she was basically the Exiles.
Yeah,
She's
well,
basically
because
exiled.
when you think about it, the Aranya, she was part of a hunter team. When they did their kind of what
their spider world is a little bit different than the other spiders. They
It's like a
have,
cult, ain't it?
yeah, basically they get like a tattoo, and the tattoo bonds with their DNA, and they get these powers that go along with it. And yeah, it's kind of like a cult, but basically there's a war going on, and they're one half of the war. There's another half of the war, so it makes sense for her going through dimensions, hunting.
Yeah.
Doing what she's been trained to do with her spider power. I like that. But I was just wondering.
Talk to me.
This made me think because we're just talking about Spider-Man was Arthos. Venom combining with characters, because remember Venom recently combined with the Hulk for the first time.
With
right?
the Immortal Hulk. I'm like, oh shit.
It's gonna get dark.
That made me go back because they said in that comment, we're referring to Absolute Carnage #3. Didn't mean to throw you off, but they said the Hulk has never combined with Venom, and I had to go digging. I was like, wait, has he never?
Yeah,
I couldn't
jump
find
on a bunch of people.
Yeah, I was like, has he never bonded with? Huh?
Yeah.
that threw me off, but it turned out,
Yeah,
he
sure.
never did.
So I was thinking, if Venom merged with Banshee or Siren, would it get immunity to Sonics? So like if it merged with like Johnny Storm, would it get immunity to fire?
That would be awesome.
Think about it. Like, would you get immunity? Because technically, Banshee and Siren are immune to their own power. You know what I mean? Because they can use it. They're not affected by it in the same way. Would its understanding, would it be able to carry forth that immunity moving forward? Understanding, because like you said, depending on how it bonds with you, it understands you at a genetic level. Would it be able to, like, it bonding with mutants, would it be able to take adaptations with it? Or would that carry over?
I think that's where Cates is going with Absolute Carnage, which I love, by the way.
One of the best books out.
I said it last week. I think I'll say it again this week. Marvel, kind of killing it right now. Like they're kind of killing it.
They found their footing.
Yes, and that's nothing against DC. DC doing their thing, but
yeah, DC's not doing bad. But right now, I think they do have one big sore point, and that is Doomsday Clock should have wrapped up a while ago.
I think not just that. I think that DC needs more of a... And this is just my opinion, because let's be real, DC fans don't care. I want variety. Like, literally 75% of their books are Batman books. Or have something Batman related in it.
Well, Batman is their Wolverine.
Well, Wolverine ain't even the Wolverine anymore. Like,
Batman's got more staying power, apparently.
It's true, apparently.
His healing factor is better.
No, you're right. Which goes to show, like I said again, DC fans don't care. They're like, whatever, give us more Batman, we'll buy it. And that's the thing. That's why I don't give DC shit for it, because your goal is to sell comics.
Well, and you have to look at the name.
Detective Comics. Exactly.
He's the only fucking detective.
There are other detectives, but they're not Batman.
Detective Chimp.
Exactly. Yeah. Detective Chimp.
Well, if he got a bat costume.
Bat monkey.
Detective Bat.
No, for real.
Bat
But they keep giving Batman more and more stuff. But once again, that is the point of running a business, is to make money. And if throwing Batman on things is what's gonna help them sell, then so fucking be it.
You work for Wolverine, that's for sure.
Yeah, it probably still could, but Marvel's not gonna do that, which I commend them for doing so.
Well, I mean, Wolverine ain't touching the films for a while, so why?
I think they're holding off
until he gets big. Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, they want people to wash that last X-Men taste out their mouth, because you have to think about what Fox managed to do with that franchise. For as little as they were able to give us, they locked down big name actors. So I think it's going to be really, they need the test of time for people to wash those faces off. Because I see a lot of people still wanting to recast these actors. And you have to understand that Disney deal's not going to look as lucrative to somebody who's already being paid, played the role, been paid well for it, and be like, well, I've been Magneto like 3 times already. I want that,
Yeah.
already in the role kind of money. So I think we're gonna see new faces almost across the board. The only face I would like to see return, and he is a little old now, but I still would love to see my boy Patrick Stewart as a Professor. I mean, he's just a perfect Professor X. You can't.
I'll say
take it
this.
past.
You're not wrong. I'll say this. Say this. Marvel, MCU, and Kevin Feige have already pretty much let us know that they're all for recasting niggas as the same people. With J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
they're just like, fuck it.
Well,
If it ain't broke.
Yeah, and that's why I think like a Michael Fassbender Magneto could still work. I think that he was a solid Magneto. I know people were talking about race bending him and doing all that other stuff, which is whatever.
Black Magneto and Black Reed Richards, I'm calling it now.
I think personally, Black Xavier would be. I think Black Xavier would be better than Black Magneto.
Okay.
And
I agree, by the way. I just want to.
and one of the reasons is because you kind of get two sides of the same thing. You have the extremist white person, or white colored person who's Jewish, whatever. But to the face of the world, I mean, you're still white compared to a black guy.
Right.
But at the same time, both of you get hate because you're both mutants.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of your skin tone, it doesn't really matter. Even though the guy helping everybody is black, give people that different look, kind of like Africa being technology advanced.
Right.
The good guy's a black dude. Even though Professor X is still evil as fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the bad guy all day.
He is. My question
He put
is,
children out there.
I mean, people were giving me shit when I was telling them my side of the X-Men story. They were like, "Well, Xavier seems kind of evil." Yeah. Yeah. And I was going down the list of all the shit Xavier's done. Xavier's done fuck shit. Xavier is the ultimate example of the road to hell was paved with good intentions. Do you know how many mutants have died because of Xavier?
Oh, hold on. You got to run something back even before you just talk about how the mutants have died.
Okay.
The Brotherhood of Evil Mutants has an 18 and over policy. The X-Men don't.
No, absolutely. They were teenagers. Once again, this is on some little do you know news. The whole concept of the X-Men came from, and this is straight from Stan Lee's mouth, from the fact that Teen Titans was popular. The Teen Titans was introduced, and now Teen Titans is killing it. Everybody loves Teen Titans. So they went to him and said, we need a teenage team. So that's why he had them go to a school. That's why he made sure they were young and they had a teacher showing them. This is because they were teenagers. These are just facts here.
Colin Salmon, yeah, he'd be a good Professor Xavier. I'd fuck with that.
And he's British.
Pull it off. Yeah,
that's
no problem. Especially depending on when you do the X-Men, because I think Professor, black businessman, one, he's a little more unsuspecting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He, people investigating him the same way, I think would be a little bit different, especially if it's in modern times, depending on when they do it. It wouldn't work back in the day because of, how you gonna get this nigga money? So you have to always make people think he's white.
Dude, we got two. That's MTF and MMA ratings. I was gonna say, did he just say the same thing twice? Were there black people in Auschwitz? Were there black Jewish people? Because black Jewish people like mixed.
No, there's stories.
There's
stories, and there's pictures of black people there and black Jewish people.
Because you
I
can
can tell you right now,
they got it first.
Here's one of the beautiful things about migration and slave trade. Both. Niggas is everywhere.
Niggas is everywhere.
You will find us from the North Pole to the South Pole and all in between. Well, there's going to be at least one or two. Like, when I went to Japan, I was surprised because I didn't go to, Tokyo. I was over in Okinawa. There's hella niggas over there.
Yeah. Well, Africa isn't that far. So, they just go out there. There's hella niggas in Australia. I was surprised.
And let's keep it 100. The oldest people were found in Africa, which means everybody came out that area eventually.
Absolutely.
So, over time, niggas was everywhere.
Ivy said, when was that? when June said, never forget the time Xavier sent Wolverine to kill a little kid. That was Ultimate X-Men number 41, if I'm not mistaken.
40 something.
It was, I think it was 41. Let me double check. Ultimate X-Men.
Yeah.
And that little nigga had to go.
Yeah. He was turning people to gas.
Listen, man. Listen.
Drink your beer, kid.
I don't agree with it. But I understand.
You don't agree with that? I agree with that.
You agree with it?
Hey, look, I mean, that's the sad
That
part.
little nigga had to go.
That's the sad part when you're in a position of, higher administration. You can show all the compassion in the world, but you have to think about, it's a numbers game. This one kid to how many motherfucking people? And where you gonna trade the kid? In the desolate town that he just created? And what happens if his power grows? You don't know how far his power is gonna come. What if he becomes an Omega mutant and that shit become worldwide on accident one day?
Nah, that I hate to say it. You're not wrong.
You know what I mean? Like, you gotta outweigh the needs of the many by the needs of the few. Like, look, kid, you're bad for humanity.
Yeah, this ain't
Matter of
working.
fact, not even just humanity.
This ain't
You're bad
working.
for everything organic.
Yeah,
There's dog
yeah.
leashes out there. You can't even have a puppy.
This can't work for me.
Yeah,
this
he
isn't
had to go.
working.
He had to go.
This
bro.
isn't working. I hate
mean,
to say it.
sometimes, shit happens. You think of it, and as fucked up as it is, it's kind of like you got cancer in a way. You just got the shit into the stick, kid. I mean, it sucks. We wish we could cure you of it. Trust me. I mean, some mutants out there wish for a cure all the time. I mean, look at Rogue. She got to live with the fact she can't touch motherfuckers.
Yeah,
but briefly.
But she's still alive.
Oh, yeah, she's still alive, which makes it suck more. Look, kid, you ain't got to go around your whole life killing everybody you know. Congratulations.
Hey, listen, man. I
You
don't
know how
agree.
boring it would get?
That
You
nigga
kill
had to
everyone.
go. He had to go. I'm sorry. That little nigga had to go.
I mean, yeah. Think about it. That motherfucker was
Bruh
too
killed.
much.
Rob Jason Bruh killed everybody.
Yeah.
So basically, fuck that kid.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes your power just ain't that good.
Listen.
What if you woke up one day with the power to unconsciously attract meteorites? And all of a sudden we got meteorites just coming to the fucking planet. Nigga, you gotta go.
Oh shit.
You gotta go.
Oh shit. This isn't working out. Like, you just got the shitty power, bro.
Sometimes it ain't good. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Don't get me wrong, all kinds of shitty powers, but there's some that are shitty enough that you might not be able to exist no more.
I mean, I like that story arc. I hate what happened, but I like that story arc.
Yeah.
The reason why I like that story is because I said this once and I'll say it again. Some of these mutants do need to go. Some of them do need to just y'all niggas gotta go. Y'all niggas gotta go. And I think that within the past 10, 20 years, they've made the X-Men and mutants too sympathetic. They kind of did turn it into an Auschwitz situation where these innocent people are being oppressed. When in reality, Magneto's killed a lot of people.
And
Sabretooth has killed a lot of people.
in the book that you absolutely cherish and love, Bruce Banner and Cyclops are talking, and Bruce Banner basically says, you have to look at it from the perspective of humanity. They have every right to be scared.
Every right.
Your neighbor hits puberty and all of a sudden becomes as powerful as a fucking nuclear weapon.
Mm-hmm.
What else do they have? Why
Exactly.
else would you imagine they would panic? I mean, you have to think about that as far as, how you interact with the world. I mean, if you might have beef with your neighbor today and all of a sudden tomorrow the motherfucker wakes up with the power to burn you with his mind, that's a problem. You might have reconsidered whatever conversation you might have the day before.
You know what I just found out recently? Cause you brought up I just found out Omega Red's a mutant.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was a mutant.
Oh. Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that he was, because I know that he was a project that they experimented on.
Well, the whip thing, I believe. To
The
my
whip was what's
understanding-
add to him.
Yeah, the whip stuff was added.
Okay.
So it was
I
the
didn't know he was a
carbonadium or
mutant
whatever.
because in the Power of X that came out this week, they're going to visit a bunch of people. And they visited Omega Red and Omega Black and the other girl. he has like his little Omega clan.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, why they visit Omega Red? And I was like, oh shit, Omega Red's a mutant? I don't know how that just.
Oh yeah, no,
I didn't
mean,
know.
like Wolverine, he was one of the mutant projects that they worked on.
Right.
Yeah.
Is Omega Red a weapon? I think he is a weapon.
Yeah.
I think he is a weapon. Okay.
But
okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I think he's a weapon, but I don't know if he was made like off the books or some bullshit like that. So
I think
he might not be considered in the weapon project, but I don't know.
I got
But
you.
he was.
I got
I
you.
know he came out of like that same camp around that same time.
Right.
Like, because I think he was almost like a Wolverine counter at one point.
I think so. I think it was Russia's, because every country was making a weapon. Like Captain America was a weapon. Canada made Wolverine a weapon. I think that Russia said, we're making a weapon because we scared of y'all niggas. But either way, yeah, like one of the biggest things that has been missed from, comic books is that some of these mutants do need to go. Some of them are pretty bad. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, let's go down the list. Jasper. Jasper the Braddock.
Jasper
That
Braddock.
motherfucker can go. Proteus can go.
Yes, like a lot of these niggas are like,
no
nigga,
offense.
Apocalypse, he can go. Emplate, he can go. Exodus, these
can
niggas
go.
is powerful as shit.
Hold on. No offense to him, because I know his power is not just related. This ain't related to his actual power, but Beast could go. Beast been fucking up the time stream so many goddamn times, bro.
That has nothing to do with his mutation.
I said it didn't.
Okay,
I said, but Beast can still go.
Okay.
He's too smart for his own good.
Okay.
And the fact that he can work with his feet means he can build these death machines faster.
That's another nigga that need to go. Forge.
Forge could go.
And shout out to Hickman for finally realizing what I've been saying forever, that because everyone's wondering how did Cerebro get so powerful? I'm like, nigga, they got Forge on their team. All Xavier has to do is say, hey, can you make Cerebro do this now?
And that's the best part is he did.
Yeah, no, exactly.
He totally realized his power. He's like, oh yeah, this is what your power is, huh?
Exactly. So that's what ended up happening. NTS says Forge is greater than Tony Stark. I absolutely agree. I've been saying forever. Why does Xavier not have their own Sentinels?
Well, no.
Okay.
No. Forge is not greater than Tony Stark.
Tell me more.
And they've covered this before in a book.
Tell me more.
Forge has to be given most of the vision for his projects. So while Forge could build anything, Forge doesn't have as creative of a mind as Tony Stark.
Okay.
So Tony Stark's also a futurist. So Tony Stark can see things that need to be invented before they are invented, and he has a good way to invent them. Most of Forge inventions come from ideas of other people. So without the creative mind of Tony Stark, Forge can't be as great of an inventor.
Okay.
So for example, yeah, you could tell Forge, hey, I want like Cerebro built up, but Forge would never conceive of a Cerebro to begin with.
He has to be told.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Where Tony is the kind of person who could conceive of Cerebro based on knowing a mutant like Xavier.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense. Okay.
And that's
that
why.
makes sense. That makes
that's
sense.
why Forge isn't always considered up on like the high intelligence list.
That's true.
With Reed
And they
Tony and all
separated
them.
why he isn't considered a mega level.
Exactly. So if you walk into Forge and you're like, "Hey Forge, build me a time machine that works on antimatter," Forge is like, "I can do that." But if you go, "Hey Forge, what are you doing this weekend?" They're like, "Shit, I'm probably gonna drink some beer, post up at the crib, talk to some ladies, try to hit up stores, see what some Auroras do."
I love it. I also they tried to dabble with it a little bit with Forge. I like that they got him away from the Native American stereotypes, because they had him like dabble with magic for a little bit, and that was stupid as fuck. It's like,
They
what?
sure did.
Like, if anyone should be against magic, it's Forge. Forge can be like, get the fuck out of here.
Why would I bother dealing with
Yeah,
that?
exactly. I could just build a weapon that can fuck it up.
Oh, here's real quick. This is the part between between Bruce Banner and Cyclops. I always thought this was dope. He said basically what you guys did were he said it was a mistake, Scott. Surely you can see this now. He said what's a mistake? He said the whole idea of the X-Men. You were mutants fighting for the rights of mutants. Your whole motivation was selfish. He said, how could you say this? Because I know a little about being hunted and hounded. You were children with no right to speak against the man who gave you purpose and a home, being Xavier. He said, how could you say that? The X-Men were wrong. We saved lives. We died so other people who hated us could live.
Said you were wrong to have a private school, wrong to have secret identities, and wrong to separate yourself from humanity the way you did. You all needed to understand that people have every right to be afraid of us. It was never about prejudice at all. It was about balance of power. Says, no, it was prejudice. It was fear. Said, you wouldn't be afraid if your next door neighbor could kill you with a thought, or if a sideways glance could result in your hospitalization. The full manifestation of your power could lead to annihilation of every person on the planet. Scott's like, yeah, I never really thought of that like that. He said, what about you, Hank? Did you? He said, Scott, my friend, why do you think I joined the Avengers?
Boom. Facts only.
Straight
Facts
up and
only.
down.
Facts only. Facts only.
Straight up and
Nothing
down.
else needs to be said there. Like, he nailed it. Like, mutants are dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, think about like the Hulk. Hulk's dangerous. You're a living fucking nuke gamma bomb.
And he has to get shot at and fucking... Nigga been on a... Nigga is a founding Avenger.
And he's still getting dumped on
Still
all
getting
sight.
dumped on.
On
Like,
sight.
still getting shot
One
at.
of the niggas you guys talk to with Avenger, like one of your company contacts is General Ross, and that nigga's still like,
Absolute facts.
can't come to this meeting, Hulk.
Absolute facts. It's facts. It's facts only. So, I see Atlas wants to come on. We're gonna get him on, but I want to talk a few more things before we do that. Today, this has been Feige week. Feige is now doing Star Wars shit. What are your thoughts on Feige doing Star Wars?
I think it's good.
I think he's earned the right to.
I think that one of the things that they missed with the J.J. Abrams Star Wars that it feels like they weren't doing is it feels like, and don't get me wrong, I don't mind the story, but it feels like they were doing a single project
Okay.
versus world building. And I think that because Disney, when Disney came out, they scrapped a lot of the old canon stuff. They said, this is no longer canon. We're going a different route, yada, yada, yada. I think because of that, you needed somebody to come in and start doing some world building.
Right.
And because they didn't do that with the J.J. Abrams deal, I think that a lot of the fans would be pleased with a change to, hey, look, we're going to not just fill in some gaps, but we're going to start giving you what made Star Wars the cult classic that it is.
Okay.
And that is a bigger universe. I mean, Star Wars has literally like damn near, I think like 10 millennia of history.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I know it's ridiculous.
insane. You know what I mean?
The idea of world building is not as easy as one would think. Like, you're dealing with a bunch of different motherfuckers who all have their own vision, who all have their own ideas, and you have to grab these niggas and be like, no, stick here, stay here,
Exactly.
stay here. You're going over here. No, come back here, come back.
Yep.
That was what happened when DC first started. There's niggas over here, motherfuckers over here, this guy's up here, this guy's down here. They needed someone to be like, no, get back, no, come back here, stay here. It's like herding cattle. It's like you gotta herd them. No, come back, and stuff like that. So they just threw it out the window and said, fuck it, y'all just make whatever movie y'all want in DC, which is fine. I think that's gonna work out for them. But
I think they've got a better approach with that now. Having the characters not necessarily be together from the start, and it'll be nice to see who they bring in to unite the characters. But
yeah.
yeah,
MCS says now Kevin Feige has 30 years of extended universe material to synthesize into a new canon. He can do that.
he can. And the thing is, I think with Star Wars that people that they're lucky with, that people working on are lucky with, is that they didn't eliminate the new canon with events that have demolished, or the old canon stuff with events that have demolished a lot of it. So really, they've only kind of played within the last, within the, what is it, 50 years of Star Wars that we knew, from when, from when Anakin was young to, Anakin's death and a little bit beyond. So, what has it been, 70 years? I think. I forget how long exactly,
so.
but roughly 70 years. So within a pattern of a 100-year span, out of 10 millennia, they've edited and made some changes. So
a lot of the older stuff can still, I think, be salvaged. So if they want to go back and visit like older Jedi who lived before, they want to go back and talk about the initial Sith that came before the Jedi, they can still use that old canon. There's no reason, they can't. And I think that'll please some fans to say, not all that shit that you guys invested your time into has been demolished.
Yeah, I think
Some of
that's
it still
important.
lives.
I think that's important. I think that they, I'm loving the new stuff. Like Ivy said, I'm enjoying the hell out of the new movies. But we could get Old Republic era stuff. Or see how things are 200 years after Skywalker stuff would be cool to me. I honestly think that's where they're going to go with it. Because Feige is so good, they're going to give him his own corner. They're going to give him his own corner and be like, hey, go. Do this. This is your shit. So the Mandalorian's going to be his own thing with the current stuff that we're going with right now in this trilogy. I see Feige off doing his own shit. I see him bringing, like he said, some stuff from the extended universe in.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of the old school Star Wars fans deserve that.
Yeah, and I think, I think that there's a lot of characters and storylines that you don't necessarily... Because I think going to see 200 years down the road is kind of cool. However, because we're already in a galaxy far, far away, it's one of those unique places where the past can still feel very futuristic. So you have the ability to go back and explore characters who have big names like Lexar Kun, who is a Jedi who he's like a dual blade wielding Sith, not Jedi, but he was a dual blade wielding Sith who demolished much of the Jedi Foundation at the time, yada yada yada, and give us an enemy that lives up to Darth Vader.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the things that also Star Wars is lacking right now is that Kylo Ren is no Vader. Nobody's been a good Vader. You know what I mean? Even Anakin wasn't a good Vader.
Now,
And
I
he
was
wasn't
going to
a
say,
good
he was a terrible Vader,
Yeah.
and that's him.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think that that's the reason why the villains haven't been as great? Because they don't want to replace Vader? Or do you think that he was done so well he can't be?
I think that he was done so well that it's hard to replace him. Because he was created off of the greatest, one of the top 3 greatest villains of all time, Dr. Doom.
Absolutely.
And I think it's hard to. I think that we've come into a movie time where so many people want to make a character ultra dynamic and don't want to have a character just be evil for the most part. And up until the final movie, Vader for the most part was evil. Like he had a very, very small moment of I am your father, come with me. But it wasn't like we watched this like emotional turmoil going into the Vader character. We couldn't even see his face until the very end. So you have, I think that a lot of characters who have that single motivation are more interesting. Where now we try to have too much emotional turmoil, like Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
It's a great example where he too much back and forth.
He annoys me.
I don't like. Yeah, he's like a little pissy child.
I agree.
And I don't like that in my villains. I want the confidence. I am set in my evil fucking ways, and I'm gonna do nothing but evil.
I'm not confused.
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't know what side I'm on, nigga. I'm here to fucking murk all of you.
That's why, to me, one of the best storylines that I've loved forever in comics, that got me into being a DC fan, is the Doomsday storyline. Because Doomsday showed up, and it showed how much of a hero Superman is. It didn't want. You didn't know what it wanted. It didn't have to say shit. That thing came to kill and destroy everything in its path.
Yeah.
There was no motivation. You couldn't give it the city. You couldn't give it control. You couldn't appease it with the fucking Snickers bar. No. That motherfucker came to destroy and kill everything. And
he went on a tour. Like he went through the Justice League books.
Yep.
He went through some other people's books. He just fucking them all
he was
up.
fucking everybody up. He fucked up the Justice League of America at the time. I think he fucked up Justice League International.
Yeah.
And that would include, they had like Maxima on the squad.
Yeah.
It
Ultimate
was
Man.
yeah.
Ultimate Man. They had him. They had Crimson Fox.
Yeah,
they had
Guy
Captain
Gardner.
Adam. Like Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
Like
And everybody, he was following everybody. And that was one of the beautiful things about it is you watch this hero have to deal with like, no, I'm either going to stop it or I die. and that is it. There's no working around it. There's nothing that this thing wants other than the destruction of everything and everyone, and I can't have that. That's what to me at the time made Doomsday a good villain. Is you didn't need to know anything about it. You know this motherfucker is bad, and this motherfucker is capable of dealing out death. And that's it. Don't get me wrong, I like Doom because Doom has greater motivations at times and shit, or even Thanos, but at the same time, like, no, motherfucker, I feel I'm better than you.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with it. I'm with
So you're
it 100%.
expendable.
I'm with it 100%.
I don't want too much complexity in that, and that's what I liked about Vader. Even though they gave him a little complexity in the storyline, for the most part, the movie was like, "I will choke you out from across space. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna arrest the rebels.
Shit.
Nigga, that's what we doing."
That's word. Either way, I think that also with Kevin Feige joining Star Wars, I think he's gonna bring more fans, which is crazy if you think about it, because Star Wars is already pretty big. I think that he's gonna bring a lot more people over because people like him, they trust him, they want to see what he can do, and he is a visionary, and people want to see his vision somewhere else.
I mean, the motherfucker made the biggest selling movie of all
Of
time.
all time.
You can't imagine anybody. If anybody sees Kevin Feige's name showing up on their phone, they're taking that call. They're excusing themselves from the table. They will be in the bathroom. And they will be silenced from everybody else.
MTF says Bria Chris Evans. Yes. Yes.
Wait, or both?
No, he's saying Brie or Chris Evans. I say yes. Both.
Yeah, I don't see why we can't.
Both. Give
Star
it
Wars
all.
is a big ass universe, fam.
Give them all.
I can tell you right now. You will see Marvel names come over. I'm sure you will see a younger, because they already have the technology. We're gonna get a younger Mace Windu.
Let me update that for you. I don't see Marvel fan. I see Disney. Disney's gonna keep it together. I see them moving. I want to be shocked if RDJ gets over there. They're gonna keep it all in the wheelhouse. That's what Disney does. They keep it all in the wheelhouse.
Yeah, it makes no sense for them not to. I mean, one of the things though that I am worried about with that is I don't want too many big names, because the last time we got a lot of big names, we got the original trilogy and it wasn't shit. So give me maybe one or two names, and the rest of it, I want to be give me new faces.
Brie and Chris.
It doesn't have to be them.
Give me Brie. Give me Chris. And give me Okoye.
Well, I can tell you right now who you're gonna get for sure.
Okay.
You're gonna get Sam.
Oh,
He's already been in
shit.
Star Wars. When he's Nick Fury, you're gonna get Samuel Jackson.
Samuel Jackson. Okay.
Yeah, people love Samuel Jackson. People love to work with Samuel Jackson. They say the motherfucker may be old, but he's still working like the
Where
Rock.
is Mace Windu? I ain't see a body.
Well, here's the thing, and that's what I said about the Star Wars universe is you can go pre. So you can go way, you can
Okay,
go back,
so prequel.
and you can have him be younger. You can have him make appearances. You can have, because we don't know how long he sat on the Jedi Council. You can edit that a little bit and say he's been there for a while, and that was him in extended age. He's not necessarily human. I mean, we're in a galaxy far, far away. To be human could be, technical.
Human. No,
Yeah.
I got you.
So we don't know how long he sat out there. We already know they have the de-aging technology.
This is true.
You don't have to have him to have a lot of fights. So I think that you have a good chance to be. We're gonna get Sam. I think Brie over Chris Evans. I think Chris Evans kind of, from what he seems like and hearing him talk, I think Chris Evans is probably gonna start doing a lot of different kind of movies and more actor kind of stuff.
Well, he mentioned on his Twitter page, he's like, no, I want to do Star Wars.
He wants to do Star Wars.
Yeah, that's why Minty brought it up. Because both Brie and Chris are like, no, I'm game. But I like what Kaiju says here, Chris Evans as Thrawn. Give him something different. I'm with it.
Yeah.
I'm with that. Cast him as a Mandalorian. Cast him as a character, a bad guy who doesn't exactly die immediately.
Cumberbatch's Thrawn. Yeah, I can see Cumberbatch's Thrawn. I can see Cumberbatch's Thrawn makes more sense. It just makes more sense.
It does, actually. It does.
But I can see us give Chris Evans a villain role.
Yeah.
Make him a Sith. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Especially because you can have him do kind of like a Palpatine where he plays both sides, because he does seem like a good guy. That'd be fun.
Or just like a bounty hunter. Like, I'm down for
No,
whoever pays me.
I don't want to be a bounty hunter.
Why not?
Let him be a Jedi. Let him be a Sith. Give him full Sith. Give my Captain America, Hail Hydra style entry to the what's it called? To the Star Wars universe.
Listen, man, one of the biggest misses in life was we didn't get the Hail Hydra Chris Evans cap.
No.
I wanted it, but I get it. Now we good. Well, we have someone on hold waiting to come over. Eli, my artist, he asked if he could join us.
Yes, he did. That was true.
Even though he was supposed to do it last week.
Damn. Calling you out.
Oh, shit. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
Headphones. Alright, let's make magic. Right. Bam, 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 do, 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 do.
Our music is lit.
Make that call.
He said female fan base wants to love a scoundrel. I believe it.
Yeah, but I think to make a lovable villain and make him likable all the way up until we know he's a villain. That'd be dope. Alright, so we doing just audio today? Hello, sir. Oh wait, hold on.
Oh, there he is.
Let's see. There we go. Bam. Bam. Alright. We cannot connect to your circuit. Okay, so I can't hear you. Hold on. I think that's your audio because I can hear Skype. Let me see. Let's go into settings. Pardon our dust here, as Tass likes to say.
I do like to say that.
You do. It's your thing, man. Hold on. Let me see. Digital audio speakers. No, I didn't click that.
MTF says plot twist intergalactic Wakanda in the Star Wars universe. Hey, listen.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
Okay.
Real quick.
Yeah, we should be able to hear him.
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Testing.
Been a long time. Now you're here. All right.
Sir, go ahead and introduce yourself. This nigga is media trained like a motherfucker. He lives in North Hollywood, so he's media trained. He's like, hi, this is Eli, aka Atlas. My ass was like, yo, you're it. That's me.
You heard? That's what's up.
But yes, this is my artist for Leaders of the Free World. We are currently doing a Kickstarter. Doing Kickstarters is the most shit on the fucking planet. It's mind numbing. It's not for everybody, but I would still recommend you do it.
Yeah, if you really want to get something done, but if nobody's going to pick it up, just do it yourself, you know?
Absolutely.
Y'all should be able to hear him now.
Okay, they said now that they can hear him.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Hold on.
Wow. They didn't even hear the intro. That's crazy.
Okay, hey, you want to run it back? Who are you again?
Okay. Hey, it's Eli, aka Atlas. I am the series artist for Leader of the Free World. Now, Kickstarter is